Why is ramen the stereotypical poor college student meal when potatoes are cheap, easy, and satiating? Cause it takes an hour in an oven to bake a potato. If you've got a kettle and 3 minutes, you can make a cup of ramen. 1. Poor equals potato, understandable. 2. Poor college equals potato, more challenging. You need to shop for the potatoes, selecting the freshest, best shaped ones, hull the potatoes, store the potatoes, prep the potatoes, cook the potatoes, refrigerate unfinished potatoes, and throw away unwanted potato parts, perishable and attracts bugs. Whereas with instant noodles, you can order it in bulk for cheap, and it comes to your door. You don't have to prep or cook them, you can even put it in your bag and microwave it in the school lunchroom. There are usually no leftovers to refrigerate, and you only end up with dry waste, so your dorm doesn't smell or become gross if you're too lazy to take out the trash. In a standard dorm room you probably don't have a full kitchen, but you might have a microwave and/or a kettle. Cooking a potato is relatively difficult compared to making instant ramen. A lot of modern dorms are suites with kitchens, but stereotypes rarely keep up with reality, and some dorms are still the old-fashioned ones. Because poor college students have eaten a lot of ramen. It's quick, it's easy to store, it's cheap, it can be found anywhere. I did the math once, and I found out that peanut butter spread on saltine crackers with a drop of honey on top is actually much more dollar per calorie efficient than ramen. But, well, that's not a traditional meal of poor college students. What they've actually eaten is a ton of ramen. College kids not knowing how to cook is also part of the stereotype. Rice and beans are also pretty cheap. BC ramen is literally dirt cheap, doesn't need peeling it, cooking skills, and takes like 3 minutes to make in a microwave. Potatoes are great, but not everyone's trying to chop, boil, or bake when they are broke and lazy. Lol. You have to buy a bag of them for them to be cheap, and then you are committed to eating an entire bag of potatoes before they go bad. And cheap bag potatoes aren't ideal for baking as in a microwave, as they are usually smaller. Without extra toppings, it would be hard to make it through a potato. You would at the very least need salt and butter, or it would be a very sad meal. Potatoes have to be cooked. Ramen just need hot water. Storage. Leave the ramen for weeks or even months, they are still good. Leave the potatoes for half a minute and they turn into an alien life form. College students usually have access to a microwave and maybe a hot plate or kettle, but not a stove or a range. Thus, eating the tastiest potato dishes aren't possible, but boiling water is. Potatoes also are nowhere near as easy as ramen. Ramen is tastier, and maybe even cheaper than potatoes. Is this a serious question? Because ramen is a meal in a bag that is shelf-stable and can have literally hundreds of different variations on taste. It only requires water to make and can even be self-contained with the cup noodles type. A potato needs significantly more time and energy to cook, and that requires additional spices, cookware, and work from the college student. Even if it wasn't ramen, it most certainly wouldn't be potatoes. Many students don't have a kitchen at all or share a small kitchen with 5 other people. Just makes more sense to cook something quickly and easily with just a microwave or a kettle. Where is a college student going to prepare potatoes? Ramen is easier to acquire, easier to cook, and lasts longer on the shelf. Potatoes take more investment to make, only come in one flavor unless you spend and do more, and have a shelf life. Rotten potato is hands down the worst smell I've experienced in my life, and I've worked dare produce a meat, so I've smelled some abhorrent things. I love a potato, but there's a lot to that equation that works in ramen's favor. The freshman dorms don't have kitchens. The most cooking I can do is fill a cup of noodles with water and microwave it. Ramen is okay by itself, but eating a plain microwaved potato would be sad. Potatoes themselves aren't a meal and require other things. Ramen is its own meal, and you can add different ingredients to make it very different. 1. You need to prep and cook a potato. You only need hot water for ramen. 2. You need to add stuff to a potato to make it taste good. Ramen already comes in a variety of flavors. 3. Potatoes can go bad. Ramen can sit in your closet for the entire semester and be eaten next semester. 4. Ramen can be stacked for easy storage. Potatoes usually cannot. 5. Eating ramen makes you feel good and warm, and like you're still finding some goodness in your poor, college money-strapped life. Eating a potato just makes you feel even poorer.